yeah, we should sit down. That's good. That sounds great. This is great. Yes, I'm tired.
Podcast.
So we're gonna have like a slideshow in the background, just showing some pictures while we kind of go through this. So, hi Ryan, how are you doing? You doing well? Yeah, you nervous?
Yes.
Okay, you'll be fine. You're in a safe place. You're in a safe place. Okay.
This isn't a very scary crowd.
Yes.
For some reason.
Yeah, you're okay. We're okay. We'll be fine. So Ryan, the first question I asked you is, what first drew you to Miracle Mile? What prompted you kind of to take that first step?
Yeah, so a little background. I actually grew up in the United Methodist Church, and one of the, I guess, like characteristics of that church is serving. And so I was kind of always surrounded by other Christians who, that's just what they did, like on the weekends or even during the work day, during the week. Also growing up, I was a Boy Scout, so serving is just what we did. I was kind of lost actually after university. I was a software developer and like kind of hated my work. But I started serving under-resourced youth in Virginia, and I was like, wow, this is giving me some fulfillment in my life. And so I was always looking forward to those events. But my wife and I, Jen, we moved up here. It was hard to find something that fit for me. COVID happened, you couldn't really serve traditionally anymore in like the traditional ways. Some people did community cooks. I know some people here have done that, but Jen knows I'm not a good cook, so that wasn't an option.
He's
for
lying.
me.
He's lying.
Yeah, I would say when it comes to spiritual gifts, I didn't really know what mine were. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a healer. I can't speak in tongues, but I can serve my time and the money that God has provided me. So being generous with my time and money are two things that I've tried to do. What else? Yeah, so I'm really thankful that Reunion found this. Miracle Mile has been really a blessing in my life. And I think the number one reason why I still do this is because Jesus tells us to. So I'm gonna quote.
Okay, he is a teacher. Yeah, he's quoting scripture.
Multi-talented.
I'm gonna do Matthew 25:35 through 40. So, for I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me a drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Truly I say to you, as you did it to one of the least of these, my brothers, you did it to me. And why that's so special is that every Saturday morning, you get to do pretty much all of those things to the least of these in our community. It's a really kind of beautiful thing, so.
Nice. There's a lot of misunderstanding around like Mass and Cash and the people navigating like addiction and just homelessness. So what are some of the misconceptions that you've encountered, and what would you want people to understand instead?
Yeah, so it's a good mix of men, women, many different nationalities, many different languages people speak. So that can be a challenge. But I think some people think that a lot of the guests, we call them guests, they're homeless. A lot of them are homeless, or maybe they live in the shelter system, or they have an addiction. They might think, these people are typically angry, maybe violent, or trying to take advantage of you, dirty. Some people think, I don't want to be around people who might smell, these sorts of things. But the reality is, I think I've only come across one angry individual in all my Saturdays there. It's just a verbal kind of confrontation, which got sorted out. They're really great staff there who, like security guards and things like that, but we've never had any violence. So it feels like a very safe space. I'd also say that these individuals are not selfish. I feel like they're very loving towards one another. They're always like complimenting each other, or giving out hugs. One really loving moment at my table, this man had all these wounds on his hand, and his partner was like lovingly, massaging it, adding some lotion, kind of thing. Like you just really could feel like the love in that space between one another. And then the guests are always very gracious or thankful that they're that we're there and serving. And yeah, I'd say those are some.
Yeah, yeah. Can you paint a picture of a typical Saturday morning for people that haven't gone before at Miracle Mile? Like what happens there? Maybe like a kind of overview of like what happens.
Yeah, so we get there at 8 a.m. It's kind of like, towards Mass and Cass. Some people like Andy get there at 7:30. He's really ambitious. And if you get there early, you can help make peanut butter and jellies. Those are like takeaway, snacks, I guess. But yeah, so the guests, when you get there, the volunteers get a role, and then we have some training, and then when the guests come in, we have people registering them at the door, getting their clothing order if they need toiletries or clothes, and then they start to come in, get their drinks, sit down at a table. While the people in the clothing closet are packing up the clothing package they need, you can start chatting with the guests if you're a table steward, and then there's some worship. This is sometimes the only opportunity these guests get to worship and get a sermon and a message. And so, yeah, there'll be like teaching pastor that has like a quick message, and then the food comes out, and then you just sit at the table with them, talk, learn about their lives, ask if you can pray for them. What am I missing?
He's well prepared.
Clothing.
He's got it. It's great.
Yeah, the clothing closet.
Yes.
So that's important. There's also, if anyone in here has medical experience, there are a couple of nurses and doctors who bandage people with wounds and take care of things like that. So that's always needed. And then for me, the most eye-opening one is, one of my favorites is the needle and trash pickup. So, because I don't spend a lot of time just walking around Mass and Cass, but really just seeing, I guess, being on the street and like we've picked up like 60 used needles in like a 2-block radius on just one morning. So it's kind of eye-opening how many people are stuck in this kind of addiction. And when you have like families walking around with their kids right next to these, all this drug paraphernalia, and like a construction worker came up to us and was like, "Thank you so much for cleaning this up, because my daughter thinks these are like markers because they have the little orange cap." And so you have kids that could be playing around with these needles. So it's just an eye-opening kind of.
Yeah, and with the needle pickup, Reunion actually has stepped up recently. Andy and Ryan have kind of led the charge there of we've been purchasing the supplies for Miracle Mile because we kept reusing some stuff and we felt like it wasn't safe. So we're trying to like continue our partnership with Miracle Mile, and they've been really gracious. Even this past yesterday, we went to deliver those supplies, and they were really gracious and really thankful that we're able to do that. And so it's been exciting to see our relationship really grow, where they really know us now. And when I introduce myself, like, where church you go to, it's like Reunion, and there's like 10 to 15 other churches that are there. In the beginning, they were like, "Oh, where is that?" Or like, you have to explain it. Now they know exactly, they don't ask that anymore. They know Reunion. And a lot of them say thank you because of the work, the donations that we've had, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's been really cool to see just people really, like Ryan and Andy and other people, Hannah, Krause, like regulars that go there, like even when we're not scheduled. And we usually try to do it once a month, but they've been going like even times that we don't even schedule. So for someone that hasn't been, done something like this before, maybe they're really nervous about showing up, what would you say to them for someone that's nervous? And we'll have a slide up there, I think, put the June 28th. That's our next one that's happening. But yeah, if someone's nervous.
Yeah, I would just say just come join us. It's really not scary. You don't need
Convincing.
Yeah, you don't need any experience to do this, which is really great.
Yep.
I would say, like, I was really nervous at first. So there are some roles you can do, like the clothing closet, you know, where you're not interacting with people face to face, maybe at the beginning, but you're still serving a great, you know, need. And then same with breakfast distribution. This is like a really great role because you're packaging the food, and you get to deliver it to them at the table, like serve them, and they're always really thankful to get that. And so there are a couple roles you can start off with, and then when you get more comfortable, you can join like the table steward role and sit at the table and, you know, get to know the guests and things like that. I did want to add too, one of the fun things is afterwards, the volunteers sometimes get food and brunch. So here's an incentive to meet more people at reunion. Have a good time after.
It's a good time actually. Just after we serve, just getting together to hang out. Afterwards, we usually walk to like a breakfast place and just have lunch together, so it's a good time. So if you just want to get more connected with the community alone, it's been really great. And just getting to know other people from other churches. I think it's really encouraging to see the kingdom of God work in Boston, that there's so many churches that all come together into one place and serve alongside one another. I think it's really beautiful. So if someone wants to serve for the first time, how do they sign up? What's the best way?
Yeah, check out the Loop. There will be the sign-up form in the Loop. You can always reach out to me if you don't have a car and you need a ride. I've been coordinating rides. Also, we've been doing a survey each month so that we can pick the best Saturday that works for the most people in our community. So please fill out that survey.
Yes. That helps us out just to determine what that is. And usually, honestly, we say 8 to 11. It usually ends by like 10:15, to be honest. So it's really 2.5 hours at the most. So again, our next one is June 28th. Just finally, last question. You're doing great, by the way. Amazing.
Crushing it.
I think Nathan should just ask you to speak next time when he says, you know, I feel like that should be the case. You'll be back up. How is serving at Miracle Mile, how has that really shaped you? How has that impacted your faith in the way maybe you see the world?
Yeah, well, first off, my wife and I are not morning people. So that's the hardest part, like to just get there. I think our average bedtime is probably like 1 a.m. to be honest, so
Facts.
doesn't make any sense. But we've had to reprioritize a few things in our lives, and I'm really, I thought that was going to be hard, but it's not. It hasn't been that difficult. Like my Friday nights look different before I serve. I'm not going out, staying out late, or hanging out with friends is late. Saturday mornings, I'm a big soccer fan, so I don't know, a few people in here maybe watch Premier League and things like that. But this year, I've just stopped. I'm like, this is not fulfilling. But going to Miracle Mile is, like, every time I come back from there, my heart is filled. And I don't regret skipping out on sports. And I'm like a huge sports guy, so
Yeah.
it's kind of a big deal to reprioritize a few of these things.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you so much for coming up here. You did great.
Crushed it.